y'all doing? How y'all doing? We're gonna get into it in just a minute. Let's allow everybody to get on in. Make sure we streaming everywhere. How you doing, Miss Toni?
I'm doing well.
So excited to have you here with us. Let me
Yes,
just
I'm proud of you.
let me make sure we stream it where we need to stream. Y'all know how
Streaming,
technology.
streaming, streaming. We're streaming.
Hey,
We're streaming. I
hey.
got I got a little engine. I worked out today, so yeah.
Girl, me too. I did a little bit of yoga, so
You
we
okay? Okay, girl.
station, honey. Ooh, these old
Namaste.
bones
Is it namaste?
almost stay in bed. All right. Yeah, we are live everywhere we need to be, honey. Yes, let's get into
Yeah.
it. So, first of all, I am so like blessed to have people in my life like you
I know.
who I send out a bird message of like, hey, I need help, or hey,
Yeah.
do this, and
Yeah.
so to have people that love me enough to be like, yo, yep, I want to come talk, share the story, all the
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
When we're about to get into it, let me pull up my questions because I thought I had them up,
Pull
but
them up now.
yep, because you know how me and you we get on here, we be on here all night.
Yeah, we can go. We can go.
We can go.
We can go.
We can go. But I already know first and foremost, I would love for you to share with us who you are and who
Yeah.
you serve.
Yeah, yeah. So I am Toni Mason. Everybody calls me Miss Toni. And I am a studio owner of Tiny Dancers. It's a Dazzle Baby Ballerina Certified. I have been for 14 years now. This year will be 15. Boom, boom. It
Yes.
will be 15 years, but I moved the studio from little space to church space to mall. Now we're in shopping center space. So yeah.
Yeah, do it one more. Say it one more time, sis. Just because it was cracking up a little bit on your end. I'm so sorry. It was cracking up a little bit on your end.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, I looked at that. It's an issue. So I'm Miss Toni. I'm Toni Mason. Everybody calls me Miss Toni, and I am a tiny dancer teacher. I'm a dance educator. I've been teaching tiny dancers for 14 years, going on 15 this year because we're in 2023. I have a studio. I have been working my studio for 12 years, going on 13 years because we're in a new year. So that pushes my numbers up. So yeah, look, give a little for that. But that's what I do full time. I teach tiny dancers. I educate teachers. I have an online space and an in studio program, and I love dance. I love what it does for the itty bitties, and I love what it does for our community and what it does to change lives because it certainly changed mine.
I
Yeah,
agree. I agree. Like I love hearing about the journey of Dazzle because I remember when it was just an idea
yeah, yeah,
when we
yeah.
were outside passing out those flyers at Home Depot
Flyers.
that one time.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Putting them on cars
That's a
in Midtown.
in my brain,
Yeah.
Midtown.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
One of my favorite memories of one of our friendship, definitely, but definitely just the work that you do and the drive that you have to know,
Mhm.
to have been there when it was just an idea and now to see this empire, right? Like you
Yeah.
currently have an empire. You got books out here, virtual space, physical space. Yep, I had to drop that nugget because
You
yeah.
got to drop it for the people. Look, I
Look,
was, oh, girl. Yeah.
yeah, we're
And
dropping that.
yeah, it makes me proud and excited because I was able to just step out and do it. And through the process, it's tough. You want to say, I don't want to do this anymore. Lord, give me something else. And he's like, no,
Yeah.
obey. So, yeah, it is like when you said it like that, I was like, oh, girl, okay. Shake a
Yes.
little something.
Hey.
No, but it makes me excited because as a creative, my brain is just going. And now it's just on a overdrive. It's like everything is about the tiny dancer, how they learn, how they,
Mhm.
how they work together, what's working, what's not, and how I can put all these things into making it exciting and fun for them
Yes, yes.
as they develop.
I love it. I love it. Woo, girl, yeah, down here, dust your shoulders off. Everybody, give us some hand claps up in the comments,
Say,
y'all. She
good job,
deserves
Miss Tony.
so much.
Let me tell you something. I just tell good job, Miss Tony. Just like I tell the
Yes, Miss
girls, I
Tony.
do this every morning. Good job, Miss Tony. Way to go, girl. If I don't, who
You
will?
deserve
All
it.
right. Yeah.
That part right there. So my next question, because you mentioned something about obeying, would
Yeah.
you say did the art form of dance choose you, or did you choose it?
It chose me. Like,
Tell us more about that.
you know, girl. So let me tell you. I was let's take it all the way back. So I was 6 years old, and this is a part of like my story. Um,
Mhm.
we live out in Orange Mountain. We were driving down Pendleton, and I saw some slippers, some ballet slippers. It was on a church's like board or whatever outside the church. And I remember looking and saying, "Mama, I want to take ballet." And Mom was
Mhm.
like, "I don't have the money." And here's the thing: I never knew anything about ballet. I never saw ballet. I never went to a show. My first ballet experience, seeing a show on stage, was in my 20s.
Mhm.
So yeah, it chose me, and I knew I had the gift. So it was like, okay, what do I do now? I think by the time I was 8, when I turned 8, I started dancing for the local community. Yeah, come on, say Orange Mountain is a community in Memphis. Yes, it is.
You gotta
Um,
teach the people.
so yeah, so I was a Beth LaBelle Golden High Stepper at 8. But through that time, I danced and being a major, and I danced in elementary school all the way up to high school. I went to Merrill's High School. I was a major at there, and it wasn't until I got back home. I transferred from UT Chatch University in Memphis, and that ballet thing, I was like, I want to dance. And
Mhm.
I had a graduate advisor. I was like, I want to change my major to dance, and she was like, I think you should be in LA. I was like, what? She's like,
Mhm.
it's not going to work for you. So that you know fear came upon me, and I just stuck it through. I was a pharmacy major. Then I changed it to business, and I got my degree in MIS. And got married, and all these other things happened. And 23, guess what? I still want to dance.
Yep,
And
you did.
I was like, I still want to dance. So at 23, I literally took my first ballet class in a space with 4 and 5 year olds. I didn't know any better. We understand that the technique is a technique. A plie is a plie, whether you 2 or 70, right? I just wanted to dance. And that's just kind of like where it was really birthed. But I've always been like a dancer all of my life. But the technique aspect of it, I was 23 years old. So I was like, I don't know what's going on, Lord, but I'm about to dance.
Right.
And I did, and I experienced that. And it was just like the setup. So I'm in a class with 4 and 5 year olds, and they may have been 5 and 6, but it's like this is the setup, because this is the ages that you're going to be like, I'm going to have you responsible for. Like, this is going to be your mission. Like,
Yes.
you have to be with these tiny dancers. And I tell you, I built some little relationships in that classroom. They couldn't stand the teacher. They told me everything. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then from there, I was like, I'm about to teach. And I did. And I
Yeah.
think maybe 2 years after that experience, I was on a contract in IT. And I said, Lord, if I lose another contract, I'm going back to school for dance. And I had already applied because I knew they
Mhm.
were getting ready to say, get out of here. And in 2015, I think it was 2015. Or, no,
Yep.
I'm sorry, 2015,
No, you.
2010. I was 25. It was 2010.
Yeah,
And
2010.
that was my first collegiate experience in dance. And boy, did I dance. I danced.
Yes.
I
Yes.
when I say I dance, if I dance, honey, I
Yes.
dance. And you couldn't get in my way. I was gonna knock you down. Like, you
Sure
just couldn't.
was. And you
Because I
probably
was
did.
getting I was getting a second dance. I was like, what? No, Tony was in class every
Yes.
day. Tony was
Yes.
taking technique class every day while I was still building Dazzle, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Girl. You about to bring me
So,
back to
so,
see it,
so here's
honey.
the thing. So here's the thing. I tell people a lot of times with me teaching the girls, I am yet still living a 6-year-old dream in
Yes,
them
yes,
because there's still this little girl inside of me saying, guess what? I get to give them what I never experienced. So
yes.
again,
Hey,
good job, Miss Tony.
yes, Miss
Good
Tony.
job, Miss Tony. Good job. Okay.
But all of that though, all of that, like this is one of the reasons why I was so excited about you allowing me to share this space with you because our
Yeah.
stories are so similar of like
Yeah.
we were the little girls that wanted to dance, right? We wanted
Yeah.
to dance, but there was very little in our communities
Mm-hmm.
that catered to that dance. Like
Yeah.
yes, we had majorette and I love all things majorette, but it's one of
Yeah.
those things of when we equate what dance is or what society
Yeah.
says dance is, it's usually
Mhm.
ballet, and that wasn't in our
Yeah.
neighborhoods. Like,
Mm-mm.
no, it was nowhere around.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
for you to like experience it. In fact, I remember meeting you in 2008 at Miss South Dance Academy.
You did, you know what? I
That's
think I had just done a talent competition. Uh, it's a lot of stuff that trickled in. So really, I had been teaching long before.
right.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I performed, and that was just kind of like me coming out of my nutshell because it was just this
Mhm.
fire burning, and that's how I met Noelia at the time. That's how I
Yep.
met her. It was a talent show at church, and I danced.
And did.
I
And so that's
danced.
where I met
Yeah,
Tony was in 2008 at a dance studio with that same fire and
I
desire.
love that.
No, girl, I would never forget where I met you, Ebony and Noelia. Like y'all
Yeah.
are my
Yeah, we
lifeline.
sure did. I met, yeah. And then 2 years later, I see you guys again, and everybody's dance majors at University of Memphis.
It was and did, and we
And I
killed
didn't
it.
know. Oh man, that I forgot about that.
Yes,
Girl.
yes, girl, yes. So, and it was that same like fire and desire of fulfilling this little girl dream, right? That's
Yeah.
still burning inside of us now. And
Yeah.
now, however, it's different now. Now we are giving those little girls and little boys
Yes.
the the desire that they feel now. We're
Yeah.
able to give that to them and they look
Yeah.
like us. Like I know
Yeah.
we both of us intentionally um serve children that look like us. That's on
We do.
purpose. Not to say nobody else can come on
That's
in, the
right.
more the merrier, but
Come
we're
on.
very intentional, right?
That's right.
We're very intentional about the children that we serve because we
Yeah.
wish someone was there to serve us in that
Right.
manner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Girl, I heard you mention you said something about teacher training. You do teacher training. But before I go down that lane, was there any teacher training for you prior to starting Dazzle, prior to even your dance education experience? Um, because we know you did teach before you launched Dazzle. Was
Right.
there any guidance before then?
I'll be perfectly honest. No.
Mm, I can believe it.
Uh once the desire came and I had to do the work, um, I studied, I
Mm,
researched, I read books. One lady before I knew of Anne Green Gilbert,
mm,
Ray Picker, is it Pika or maybe Pika or Pika? But I followed her. I read all of her books, and what she did, she took dance and movement, and
mhm.
she collaborated with uh, the education, like literacy and math and science. Like that's where I got it. And then I just started it just started evolving, and I would be up all night
Mhm.
um researching and just trying to like figure this out. Like what is this thing about teaching tiny dancers? And it's not all ballet, we use ballet as a medium. Like it's like, yeah, we're going to be ballet, but are they going to be doing ballet in the entire class? No. We're going to be working on creative dance. We're going to be working on fine motor skills. We're going to be working on vocabulary. We're going to be working on social skills. We're going to be working on trying to get them to a place where they don't have separation anxiety from their parents. So I could, like I tell people a lot of times, they take what we or what I do for granted, but just on a single exercise tee, we literally could write a thesis statement.
Amen. And it sounds like something you and I need to do, honey.
I mean, we make it look easy, but
Exactly.
there are so many. things that go beneath the surface of just teaching your child, because guess what? They are not the same. I don't care if it's three three
Ooh,
students that are three that are four. Each one of them are on a different level, and the maturities are just like they're
ooh,
all over the place. And so
mhm,
we, especially with me, it's like, she's three, but a three and a half year old may still need to be with mommy.
mhm, mhm.
I believe this. I have 2-year olds
Yeah, you
that
do.
are more mature, and this is not personal against any parent, but I have 2-year olds that I literally can put in class with a 4-year old and just be like, and just sit back and watch
Mhm.
and just watch everything unfold, because the maturity is just different.
Yeah,
They are not created equal. They are not,
I
you
agree.
know.
I
So
agree.
yeah,
Tiny humans, tiny dancers, and it's a special group. Like I
yeah,
personally,
yeah.
if I had to choose a group to teach, it will be like the little people. I love kindergarten
Oh
through
my
second
God,
grade. And
I
second grade isn't
know.
so tiny, but
Well, they're still they fall under like the early childhood.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, girl.
Now I
Them
like
folks-
my uppers too, because you can do some things. You can have some conversations with them. I
I
love
can
my
teach
uppers
them,
conversations.
but the niche is with the babies. Yeah,
Right.
I can teach on them and love on them and do all that too. I really can teach them up till they 90 if I wanted to, but I just stick to, they say stick what you're good at. I stick to that. I
We
stick
like
to it.
littles. We
I
like
love
this.
my littles.
Yes, and they love you. They love you. They Miss Tony, honey. Make
All
sure
day,
y'all follow Miss
all
Tony
day.
at Dazzle underscore baby ballerina certified, correct?
Yeah, yeah, you can follow me there, and then you can also follow me on I have another business Instagram. It's the dot Miss Tony. Yeah,
All right. I'm putting that in there and I'll drop
yeah,
the Dazzle one in just a minute. All
yes, and
right.
that's Instagram.
Still certified, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
That is the
yeah. That's
ballet
it.
one.
Yeah,
And then her other is Miss Tony, the
yeah,
dot Miss Tony.
yeah.
But I'll keep flashing those up throughout our
Sure,
conversation here.
sure.
So I definitely feel you when you just said there was no training or very little
Yeah.
prior to your teaching experience, which is one of the reasons why I named this one "Our Voice Matters." Of
Hmm.
yes, telling our story as aspiring dancers, as
Yeah.
aspiring dance educators, but really for the sake of arts educators are not. Uh, I'm trying to say this in a politically correct way, but we
Well,
treat it like stepchildren.
yeah, yeah. Yes,
Right?
I'm
Like
sure.
I'm
I'm
just
sure.
gonna call it for what it is. We're treated like the stepchildren and a lot of different things. Like a lot of people, as much as they say they love the arts, they don't a lot of people, I want to say people, but society doesn't respect the arts in various aspects.
Well, here's what my experience has been, and I'll
Hmm.
tell you from studio experience.
Yeah.
If something is going wrong in a household and they have to decide what has to go, it's going to be dance.
Yep.
It's going to, or it could be music, or it could be anything in the arts, right? And that's fine.
Mhm. Yeah.
And here and on the other side of that, even in the educational system, especially here in Shelby County,
Ooh.
if they're letting go, I'm just saying hypothetically, if they're letting go teachers, who do you think is going to be the first one to go? The
Us.
dance teacher.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Come on. And
Yeah.
I'm not mad because
We
I
get
have my own.
right.
That's why I have my, I'm just saying, I'm not upset about that. But those are the things that I think about and that were at the
Mhm.
forefront of my mind when I when I have the studio, and me not going into the school system to be a teacher. Now I can
Mhm.
go in and teach, but I no, I don't want to deal with. That's not
Mhm.
my path. But there are a lot of
That was
teachers
my
in the
path.
school system that
Yep,
because
that was my path.
Miss Tony would be packing some bags, saying, you know what, mm-mm, mm-mm.
Yes, yes. And
You know, yeah, because even that, you
mhm.
are still an artist.
Yep.
And as an artist, there are things that has to get out. And if it can't
Mhm.
get out, I can't be there. I have to
Yes.
go. I have to go. No, it'll drive me crazy. But
Yes.
I'm so thankful for people like you. I just am. You and all the others and Jesse and I love y'all. I love y'all.
Oh, we love
But
you too.
and that's what people have to understand too. Guess what? We have a million different pathways. And I remember our professor Wayne, he said it best. He said
Mhm.
dancers, they create their own path. And you have to. And that
Yes.
stuck with me since 2010. That's what, 12 years ago, 13 years ago? That stuck with me.
Mhm.
He said dancers create their own path.
And that
We
we
don't
did.
wait. And we don't wait for somebody to say, here you go. No,
That part.
we create it. If it's something that we don't see, we create it.
Hmm. That part. No
No,
lie.
no, let me show you this. If it's something that we don't see, we
We
create it.
created. She created the Tiny Dancer. What was the Tiny Dancer
Oh, this
letter?
is what I have all my books in here. I something the Lord is like, get these, baby. I got this one. Hold on, girl.
Okay.
Oh my God. I got the little boys one. I got this one. Let's see. Yep, that one. And then I got the number tracing. Girl, I just bought then I got this one, the coloring count slippers. So these are like my draft books, but look at this. I just got these today, girl. So I'm just like, I'm about to go and
Let
let
me
you.
see.
And then I have, oh, I got this one for the little boys, superhero kit. So cute. Oh my God, it's so cute. And
I'm
they have,
getting some for my littles.
yeah. Oh yeah, you teach littles. You got, girl. I just got some of these books to come in today. So yeah, that just stuck with me. And I'm not saying that people have to create books and things like
No,
that. But if you have a burn desire in it and you don't see it, we are living in a society where you literally can create anything.
anything. Right, right. No, I definitely agree with that. And I know you mentioned something about not necessarily having to create books, but like you created a resource that you did not see. We
No,
as educators, no matter whether we teach in studio or K-12 or whatever, we as educators, arts educators, we're constantly having to create things, which is no problem. We're creatives,
right?
right?
Yeah,
But it always brings me back to why aren't these things created already, right? Because like we can go buy a social studies curriculum, boom, right there. We got a whole curriculum. We can go buy a math curriculum, boom, whole curriculum.
yeah,
And that's even in a non K-12 space. Even like I think
yeah.
about Sullivan Learning Center or
Oh
QMont
yeah,
Learning, like those places, although they're not in the actual school building, they
yeah,
still have these resources already created for them
yeah,
or things to pull from. So I
yeah.
love that you have also added Arthur to your
I
to your
know.
resume here.
I know. I have Miss Tony's first day teaching ballet. It should be out in a few months and stuff. So it's about my experience teaching my first ballet class. Yeah.
Girl, I'm about to have a Miss Tony bookshelf behind me.
You're gonna be like, go, Miss Tony. Go, Miss Tony. Go, Miss Tony. Yeah, I'm not cocky, but
She's not, but she
there are
deserves all the accolades.
some moments I just be like, girl,
You have to. You have to. And I want everybody to celebrate Miss Tony just as much as she's celebrating herself.
yeah,
I know her personally, you guys. And when I tell you this woman will give you the shirt off her back
yeah,
and then some, and then feed you and all of that, like
yeah,
she is such an amazing soul. And to see this journey is
mm-hmm,
amazing. I will
yeah.
never stop saying that, to see your journey, because
I know.
I've known you since 2008, and to see you in
Yeah.
2023, it's like, well, we got books. Okay, let me go ahead and get those.
Well, you've had a front row seat compared
Yeah.
to people who are just looking at an ad or somebody that's just visiting the Facebook or the social media or just the website. Like you have literally saw like the this.
Yes, the grind.
Yeah. Yeah, you saw it. You saw it. So that's what makes it more meaningful for someone who's actually watched it versus someone, that catches on the tail end. A lot of times, when you see these very highly successful people, most
Mhm.
times we're catching them on the tail end. You can't develop a story from the tail end. You got to start from the
Mhm.
beginning,
I agree.
So that's that's
I
that's the beautiful part about it. Yeah.
I agree. I definitely agree. So we're gonna come back to the teacher training that you do, because that's something new I did not know you did, and that's amazing. So go
Yeah.
ahead and tell us more about that and the
So
why. Why did
so
you do teacher training
So
too?
the teacher training, it's kind of I'll tell you this, it's a work in process. So I'm going to start it, very, very small, like ebooks, but there are no, I'm not going to say no.
Little.
The percentage of African American women teaching preschool dance is like this, right? I
Hmm.
went to a teachers conference last summer, and there were thousands of women I was in, what was it, in Mohegan Sun Resort.
Hmm.
I literally saw and met six, including me, six women of color in this whole conference. And I'm not saying that there aren't women who teach preschool dance, but a lot of times when I get teachers in to help at the studio, they do not know how to teach. And this is no, this is, I'm not trying to be funny, and I'm not, and I'm, I'm just being very honest. They cannot teach. A lot of times you have dancers, especially dancers that can dance, they cannot
Hmm.
teach. You
Hmm.
have professional dancers that have been dancing professionally 20 years, and when they leave their career, they cannot teach.
Ooh.
They cannot teach. They cannot take that information that they've developed all these years and
Yeah.
dumb it down to whoever they have to dumb it down to, whether it be a 2-year old or an 18-year-old, maybe an 18-year-old because they're a lot older. But the young children, no, there's not a space. So for me, I want to create a space to train teachers, to train them
Hmm.
in preschool dance to just the basics, because once you get the basics, that experience is going to teach you quick. A lot of times we're so fearful about teaching these babies, and guess what? They're scared of you too. It's their
Hmm.
first experience. They don't know anything. And I tell people a lot of times, can you think back on what it feels like to be in this world for 3 years? What? That's
Mm.
insane. You
Child.
don't, you can't remember that. So you have to approach teaching tiny dancers or children or whatever it is. You have to approach it the same way. They are learning.
Yes.
They are learning. You're not going to always get it right. They're not going to always get it right, but the process of it and the way it unfolds, and when you see that baby mature, I have to
Hmm.
sit back and clutch my pearls like that is
Mm.
not the same.
Isn't it beautiful?
I and I do a lot of crying when I'm at home. I'm like, oh my gosh, Lord, thank you for that. That was so beautiful. And then they start at 3, and then you look up, they're 8 and 9. It's like,
Yes.
where did that baby go? But I
Yes.
think that with having more preschool dance teachers, I feel like
Hmm.
the Lord has given us an opportunity and a space to be able to mold our babies and to create something so beautiful where they see more of us. Because the women that are doing it, they are not brown women.
No.
They
No.
are not brown women.
I agree.
And some of the things that you read, yes, it's based off their experience, but guess what? I have a different experience than they have.
That part.
I have a different audience than they have.
Yes.
So now I want to include women of color and even men into
Mhm.
this space of what I have experienced, and to help them create a space to be able to do the same thing. So we
Yes.
don't have enough preschool dance teachers. And even here, I get a lot of the instructors in Memphis. They say, Miss Toni, we love what you're doing and we love to teach dance, but we cannot do babies. They
Mhm.
say it all the
I've heard
time.
that a lot
And
too.
you have to respect that, because I wouldn't want you in my space and you don't do babies. Because the
Mhm.
moment you just look wrong, you got to go. You have to go. You have to leave. And I'm mama bear, so my these are up.
Mhm.
They're up. So if you know that, then you shouldn't be in a space. But if you have a desire for it and
Mhm.
you're operating out of fear, let me help you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's real. That's
yeah,
real. That's
yeah.
totally real. And I love that you're doing it for the various reasons that you mentioned. One, there are very little ECE children, not children, but ECE arts educators
Yeah.
in general, whether that's dance, music, whatever. Like nobody wants to teach the babies. And it's like,
And
wait,
they're
why
the
are you not? They're
they're
the
the
ones who are most eager.
Yes, they're the best ones. And it's so funny. I tell people, even with my online space, and I can communicate with the kids just like I'm doing with you because we're live. And a
Mhm.
lot of times we do this tiny dancer talk back, and they literally tell me their entire life. And I
Mhm.
just sit there and I listen. I say, wow, wow. And there's this exchange that we don't oftentimes keep in our minds, that although we're giving, they're giving us something too.
Girl, yes.
And I think that if we look at it in the capacity that we are servants, you
Mm,
you you look at it totally different. And so when I tell people I teach, I'm literally a servant. I serve my babies.
yes.
I serve them every day. You know? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, girl, you gonna have me up here. Don't make me throw the blanket at you. Everything you said. See? Oh my gosh. I needed this conversation because I'm rejuvenated. I'm so
Yeah.
rejuvenated because of everything that you're saying, everything that you're doing, not just serving the babies, but also serving the aspiring educators, because
Yeah.
there are a lot out there.
Yeah.
And showing grace to those who want to learn. You gotta
Yeah.
want to learn in
You
order
have to want it. You know,
to
it
learn.
it tells us that the Lord will give us the desires of our heart. You got to desire.
Yep.
Because if you don't desire, you're really wasting space,
Mm-hmm.
time, and
And
energy.
yes, those elements of dance. Okay.
Yeah. You're
Don't waste
wasting
our
it.
elements.
Yeah, don't waste it. Don't waste it. Don't waste it.
Yeah.
I think that, being a preschool dance teacher or an arts educator, it's like we're not creating dancers, but we're giving them this experience that they will always have an appreciation for the
Mhm.
art. And I
Yep.
tell people a lot of times that even if, this student decides to never dance anymore, that
Mhm.
experience I've had so many people say, I remember when I was 3 in their 30s and 40s and they don't dance at all, but it's an experience that they never forget. They never
Exactly.
forget. And then if they do get tired, guess what? They come back. I always
Mhm.
came back to dance.
Mhm.
I
It's
always came back. There's some times you're just like, not
right.
today. I'm
Right.
tired. I don't want to do this anymore, or it's difficult. But it always found my way back.
Yes.
I always found my way back to dance.
Yes, girl. Whew. My heart has been made. My heart is filled. Let's talk to the people, y'all. How y'all feeling? How
Yeah.
y'all feeling on
Yeah,
Miss
I see
Tony?
I see the IEP coach.
Yes, that's Miss Jamila. So
Hi,
she
Miss
says
Jamila.
that's true. You have the great skills, but everyone don't know how to teach that,
No, they
which is
don't.
true. You
No.
have so many people out here teaching things,
Yeah.
and that's in all settings, studio settings, classroom settings, in a K-12 setting, who
They shouldn't.
have the skills to, or the content knowledge rather, to
Right.
do the thing, but don't know how, or really want to desire how to do the things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I've even seen that throughout my journey of, I've been in the game, what, 10 years.
Hmm.
Yeah. Been in the K-12 game 10 years.
Wow.
Had some extra, some teaching situations way back when.
Right.
But being in the actual school system, teaching
Hmm.
dance, that was my desire, was to teach
Yeah.
dance in the public school, because that was not my, experience. I got music, yay, in the one art class,
Right.
but that was it. And that's not where my heart gravitated as
Hmm.
far as a creative space, right?
Mm.
So my goal, once I found the dance education major at the good old University of Memphis, right?
Go
Uh,
Tigers. Mm,
Go Tigers!
mm, 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 mm. Okay.
My entire world changed. Like, it
Yeah.
was one of those moments of, wow, I can finally do what it is that my heart desires.
Hmm.
Although I don't at the time didn't feel confident enough to go down the professional dancer route, I knew what I was good at. I was good at
Yeah.
with working with children. I knew
Absolutely.
that. I knew that as a
Absolutely.
kid.
Yeah.
Like, kids just
Right.
not graduated, but gravitated towards me, even as a child myself. So to come across dance education, it was like, oh, I can do this and not have to go to school, or have taken ballet since I was 2 myself. Oh, wait, wow. I could teach the children that look like me during their school hours. Wow. So that was one of my, like, okay, this is what I'm doing, and the
Yeah.
reason why.
Yeah.
But the issue with that, for me at least, was, um I got all the dance, right? We had such amazing dance professors, you guys. Like, they are still our family, right?
That
They
look.
are our family.
Yeah. I'm on
Mama,
speed dial.
yes, yes. Um, but it was the education side, at least for me,
Hmm.
that did not very well,
Mm.
as a in regards to helping me transition to the school system, which was my
Right.
desire. I could
Hmm.
teach dance all day long, but all the other extra stuff,
Yeah. The
yeah.
fluff. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
unit plans, what's a unit plan? What
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that? So, um, I always just, think back and reach back to dancers, aspiring dance educators, no matter which route you
We
take.
chose, yeah.
Yeah. And really think about like what does that beginning teacher need to be successful?
Mm,
Even during my time as an arts educator, not arts educator, but working in a dance studio, it was
yeah,
one of those like one of our dance teachers. She was great at the technique,
yeah,
but she, like you mentioned, could not teach the thing. So she would teach the choreo, and I would like stop. Let me break it down
yeah, yeah,
because of that. And had I known what I knew now, or even had Miss Tony had her empire of the teacher development program, we would have called Miss Tony in,
yeah,
but 7 years ago.
yeah. Because I would have been like, girl, wait a minute. They're
Yeah,
not gonna they're not gonna receive that. They're just not. I'd be like, no, no,
sticker spark.
no, no, no. For me, when I'm teaching, especially like with choreography or anything,
Mhm.
sometimes I can stay on something too long, but it's like you take it like one eight count, one movement at a time, and sometimes they're ready to just throw all this stuff out. And
Mhm.
what we have to learn as educators is that the mind and the body,
Mhm.
they have to do this.
Married. Yeah,
Yeah,
they got
because
married.
if they're not doing this, you're not going to get that end result that you want.
Exactly.
And then as an educator, you have to know too, when you are introducing these whatever the concepts and stuff. I think sometimes we have to know when our students have had enough. We have to be able to read them. And there are a lot of teachers out here that don't know how to read their students.
Yes.
You have to be able to read them to know when to back off.
Mhm.
And then you have to be able to move to something as you say, you know what, girls, let's revisit this another. We'll work on this another time because it can get mentally stressful for them too.
Right.
I've had this a lot of times. I can sit in their faces. I say, you know what, you've done a wonderful job. Let's revisit this next week. Um, and it gets and you put them in a space where they're not, oh well, I didn't get it right, or I'm not this, and we'll go back. I tell the girls a lot of times, we have time. We
Yes.
have time. Society doesn't allow them time to develop, but Miss Tony will.
Mhm. Mm. Woo! Wait, repeat. Rewind and repeat. Go ahead and say that one more time, sis.
Society doesn't allow them time to develop, but I will.
Yes.
We are so caught up in a 3-year-old dancing at the Juilliard level. And
And
we have to even remember, even our greatest of grace, Misty, she didn't start dancing until she was 13. They have time. Let them develop.
yes.
Let them flourish. And I get a lot of that, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to
Mhm.
push you back. No,
Mhm.
no. And especially for what I do, where are they going?
Right.
Where?
Mhm.
Tell me,
They're
where? Where are you? Where could you possibly? Where are you going? Like
right.
what is it? Yeah,
Girl. Yes.
yeah. So those are the things that I see a lot. And then with new teachers, it can be frustrating. I have to do this to myself sometimes and say, in our delivery tone
Mhm.
sets the entire environment
Right.
with students. Your excitement, how you carry yourself, what you wear.
Mhm.
Miss Tony never, I don't ever teach without a tutu. Ever.
I never thought about
Ever. I
that.
don't. Because I am creating an experience and setting an atmosphere for my babies to grow, develop, and learn and want to come back the next week.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just like basic stuff that you would think people just let's just say a new teacher comes in and she doesn't proper tire.
Mhm.
She doesn't know how to properly speak to a student, right?
Mhm. Right.
Those are like those are just a few things
Mhm.
that would help make a class space, dance space, whether it be in studio or in a school, it would make it flow better.
Yep. Classroom management. And I hate I toy with the word classroom management, but I'm gonna use it for right now. Classroom management is needed across again, whatever you're doing.
Yeah,
You need
it's
management
a
skills.
part of the space, and you're gonna deal with classroom management whether I'm in studio or whether I'm in a school,
Community
a
center.
public school or community. Yeah, you have to deal with it, and it's one of those things that I don't think everyone wants to make themselves an expert on how to manage the classroom, but it's really, you get the foundations of it, and it's going to be trial and error, because every student that comes in for that particular year or the next year,
It's
it's going
different.
to be a different experience. And then as teachers, we have to learn how to readjust and know
Yes.
that what worked for the class last semester or last year, it's going to be totally different for this new group, and what how I approach it nowadays is I say this, especially in the studio, because sometimes as a teacher, sometimes I'm like, I'm teaching the same things over and over again, which is necessary. And the reason why is I have an 8-year old here. She's moved on. She's 8, right?
Mhm.
But this new 3-year old is going to have a totally different experience
Mhm.
at 3 than when she had when she was 3. So what I taught this 8-year old at 3 is necessary for this 3. So it's a cycle. It's
Yes.
a cycle, and we just have to be open to adjust and
Yes.
readjust and to unlearn and to relearn and to it's a cycle. It never stops. It never stops. I find myself sometimes where I'm teaching class and one day I'm on a high and I'm like, yeah, fine, sis. And then there's some days I'm like, okay, girls, that's what we're gonna do. Great. Big clap for yourself because I'm physically tired and everything else. But I don't really show it. But
Right.
I'm just adjusting.
Yes.
I
You
actually did
and
that
it
this
shows them
Saturday.
how to adjust.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yes.
This is
Let's
good
let's go
stuff.
check out some of these comments, honey,
Who's it?
because they
Holistic say y'all are preaching. Mhm,
So
mhm,
let's check in. So I know the IEP coach Jamila.
mhm.
She says like they are experts in their content, but don't know how to teach it to the children. So that was going back to the conversation we was having about dance educators or educators in general.
Yeah,
They know their content, but don't know how to teach it.
yeah,
And then we had right, and you get thrown in the ocean, and you either swim to shore or sink and drown.
yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. She mentioned something about having rapport with them. So the students having rapport with the students. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
with students, you have to create a space where they trust you.
Yes.
And especially for what I do, and I think that's just children in general. They can see, they read spirits, they can see who they can't trust. They know instantly. They and a lot of times we think we can fool them. No, you cannot.
No.
No, you
Reap
cannot.
for filth.
No, I read, you have to learn to read their body language.
Mhm.
You have to learn how to read the thing. You have to learn how to read those things that are not spoken. Their eyes.
Mhm.
I watch the girls. Their eyes say a lot to me. Their
Yeah.
body language says a lot to me. How they move, and when
Mhm.
I give an instruction, depending on if they're slow to move or quick, I look at a lot of things. And
Yeah.
although it's registering here, I'm still teaching. So you don't know that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Even in a mommy and me, I'm doing all these things at one time, and they have no idea.
Exactly. Girl, come on, come
Miss
through. Preach,
Miss
preach to the
Miss
people.
Tony, Miss Tony make it look easy.
Yes, preach to the people. But that also makes you such a great educator. And I use the word educator over teacher
Yeah,
for various
I
reasons.
love that educator.
Because we're
Yeah,
all educators.
yeah,
But
we are.
educator does all the things that you just mentioned.
Hmm.
They're watching the children, they're building rapport, they're talking to the parents,
Hmm.
they are checking in with themselves of like, am I even okay right now
Yes.
to even teach this particular thing in this way? Okay, nope, I'm not because I'm getting frustrated, this, that, and the other.
Hmm.
Oh, my
Hmm.
babies are getting frustrated, and the
Hmm.
babies can be your high schoolers too, the
Yeah,
babies,
they do.
y'all babies.
Yeah, they are.
Right?
Mhm.
Even identifying, okay, my new mentee teacher or apprentice, whoa, this might not be the best person for this role right here. Okay,
Right,
let's switch
right,
gears, let's pivot.
right.
That's what an
Yeah,
educator does.
yeah,
And
yeah.
people use the words interchangeable, but
Mhm.
I personally love the term dance educator versus dance teacher.
Yeah, that's what I have on my Instagram. I was like, I'm a dance educator.
You are a dance educator and you
Hmm.
killing it, boo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And I wanted to add that for us to be our best selves, it's
Mhm.
just gonna take experience. Um, you after we get through reading all these books, looking at all these posts, seeing all these videos, and getting everyone else's personal experience and their feedback, then we have to go in and really throw ourselves in to experience just what it really is. And guess what? There are going to be some things that will be bothering book that will happen for you, and then there are going to be a lot of things that won't happen that's in that book that you just, I'm just being honest.
Amen.
um and really we need to use those books as a roadmap. They're just
Mhm.
roadmaps, because I could write a book now and create and have stories that are going to be contrary to what I read from another dance educator, because that experience that I have with my group of babies, it's there are going to be definitely things that are going to be different. Yeah.
Different. Yep. Agree. Agree. I agree with all of that. Hold on, we got a couple more things. So holistic fluency says, see and study them so you know how to best support them. Yes, ma'am. Then
Yeah.
she also stated, managing your space is an essential life skill. And that's with anything.
It
Children,
is.
adults, especially the adults. Woo! Sometimes we gotta manage them.
No, we do. We do. We do. No, 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 no. We manage them. And so I tell people a lot of times, yes, I manage all these babies, but I am managing their parents too. You know why? Parents have a million things that they're responsible for, right?
Yeah.
They have the babies, they have the student that's in dance, the other babies that they have that are in different grade levels. They have husbands, significant others, their jobs, their careers. So we are managing them too. I know I am. So not only am I managing my students, but I have to keep their parents, abreast and on their toes too. So it's a double for me.
Agree. And same in K-12 space too.
Yeah,
The
you have to.
same thing.
You have to. And I tell them a lot of times, give yourself grace. You have to
Yes.
give yourself grace too.
Yep.
Yeah,
The
I tell
parents also need their encouragement and the
they.
empowerment that we
Oh,
get.
I do. I like, good job, mommy. You did a good job. I always tell them, I said, I let me be the conductor. I will
Mhm.
not lead you wrong. I've been doing this a long time. A
Mhm.
long time. I may not know how you do things in your house. This space, I got it down packed.
Right.
I run it.
Right.
It's a good oil machine, oil machine, right? It
Mhm.
just I know how to keep it moving. And then if
Yeah.
something happens, I say, "Oh," and we keep it moving. That's
Right.
just
Right.
what it is. But
Maybe.
we do manage them too, because they have a lot of personal things that come up. And
Mhm.
then when that comes up, then they have to still be a parent and
Mhm.
keep the same routine for this child. So I could sit here and tell you guys stories for days. For
Yes.
days.
We
Mhm.
need story time. We might have that might have to be our next live series. Story time as dance educators or something.
Mhm.
We'll figure something out.
Ooh,
Yes, I'm gonna text you.
yeah, story time. That's funny.
IUP coach says management is half the battle, which is
It
very
is.
true.
Yeah, it is half the battle.
Then she mentions, "Yes, ma'am," and I can read it in her voice. And some students will take you around the world and back just to see if you will be there for them tomorrow and the next day and the day after.
Mm,
Woo! Whole
yeah.
message right there. And that's
Yeah.
one beautiful thing about the arts, right? Like
Yeah.
we naturally do that.
Mhm.
When a child opens up their heart to be vulnerable,
Mhm.
excuse me, and when I mean vulnerable, that also means creative. In order to
Yeah.
be creative, you have to be vulnerable, right? So
Mhm.
it's like when a child opens up their heart to be creatively vulnerable with you, they're
Mhm.
trusting you that you are going to show up for
That's right.
them
That's
day after day after
yeah.
day after
Yeah.
day, and that one time you don't, they gonna remember it.
They will. They never forget anything. They they will remind you of, like, okay, all right. And you know what I do a lot of times that I don't see. I'm not saying the parents don't do it and adults don't do it, but I apologize
Me too.
um, to my students a lot of times. I say, you know what? Miss Tony apologizes. I wasn't thinking, let's do this. And I'll say, you know what? Thank you for helping me. I should have done this. So there is correction goes.
Yes, both ways.
And we learn so much from our students. So it's like, although we're giving, we're receiving something too. And it continues to go like that. So I get corrected a lot of times from the girls, and I have to say, you know what? I'm sorry. Miss Tony apologizes for that. Will you
Right.
forgive me? And just so go there, yes, we forgive
It's
you, Miss
okay.
Tony. We
We'll
love
see
you.
you
It's
next
okay.
time.
Yeah, right. And but that's the beauty of working with the age group that I work with. Yes.
Mhm.
So It's just all I can say is it's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to experience, and it's beautiful to have the opportunity. Yeah, I
Yes.
wouldn't change my story for anything in the world. Nothing.
Amen to that. I
No.
agree. I agree. I agree. And holistic fluency says very true, catches them off guard at first and takes the stigma away. So about apology, that's what she was talking about.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, yes. So I don't want to keep you on here all night because, like, you know us. We'll be here on
We
all
can talk
night.
all night. This is good.
Excuse me, I'm
This
gonna
was
be
good
straight.
stuff.
Yeah, girl. I mean, you know, we're gonna
Yes.
come on and keep this going. We'll have to think of us a series, me and
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
of these ECE babies. So what would you tell your beginner self? What would you tell your beginner self? The 2010 early on beginner self.
I was about to say something funny.
Girl,
I
go
was,
ahead.
I was thinking about what was that thing I said? If you build it, they will come. What was that? It was something that I heard a while back. Say, if you build it, they will come. No, my 2010 self. I was in my what early 20s.
Mhm.
Hmm. Don't be afraid of change.
Mm,
I would tell myself, don't be afraid of change. And had I known what I know now, I always tell people that I meet now to use what you have in your use what you have in your hands.
mm.
All you have is all you need. That's what I would tell myself every day. And I'm telling myself that now. All you have is all you need. Use what's in your hands.
Whew,
Use what's
girl.
in your hands. Yeah. And I tell myself that literally every day. Every day. Use what's in your hands because we think that we need something magically to
Mm.
appease the people. And even now, like with technology, people are being accepted as they
Are.
are.
Look at Lizzo,
Whatever that
child.
is. Whatever that is for you.
Agree. I agree. The digital
And
space.
I always tell my arts folks is like there's an audience for all of us.
Mm,
I tell people there's an audience for you to do that. There's an audience for me to do that. And guess what? Somebody's looking for me.
mhm.
While we're on this live now, T, somebody is looking for Miss Tony. And I
Yep.
said, Lord, let them find me in
Yep.
Jesus' name. No,
And let that be.
and those are things that I wish that I could have told myself. And
Right.
that back in 2010, like allow yourself to change.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. And
yeah.
everything you just said, I've been saying it to myself too. So I
You
get it.
have to.
You might have
You
to text
have to.
yourself that in the
You have
morning. So
to. You have
you
to.
have
A lot of
everything
times
you need.
I'm telling the girls to clap for themselves in class, but now my in 2023, I'm telling clap for yourself, Miss Tony. That's why I did that when I came on here because that's a mantra that I'm having for myself now every day. Miss Tony, clap for yourself. Miss Tony, clap for yourself.
Mhm.
Clap for yourself. Yeah, I do that because I do that in class with the girls. I'm like, hey girls, clap for her, clap for yourself. And
Yeah.
sometimes they may not want to do it, but they do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Girl, yes, yes. So you have already told us where we can find you, and I'm popping them back on the screen
Yes.
at Dazzle underscore baby ballerina certified.
Mhm,
And y'all,
mhm,
her babies
mhm.
are so cute. So make sure y'all, y'all,
Lord, comment on our post.
yeah,
Comment on my babies. Comment
yes,
on my
they
babies.
are
Look at that cute little thing. Look at that cute baby.
the tutus, everything, and watch them grow. Like it's
Yeah.
been amazing to see some of the babies that started, when you started, and
Yeah.
literally watching them grow through your pictures. It's like,
I
oh my gosh, she
know.
ain't two no more.
No,
She
I had a preschool director, Miss Lindsay, asked me the other day. She said, "Is that Cameron?" I said, "Honey, Cammy been with me since she was 3, and she's like 8. 8, yeah, she's 8." It's like, no, I think she was 2 because she did mommy me, so she could have been 2 or 3. But yeah, they just grow up, and I'm
I
just like,
feel like
where did
a
you find
internet
them?
auntie. I'm
You
an
are,
auntie
you
because I'm
are,
like, oh
you
baby,
are.
you grown. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh.
I know, I know.
So at Dazzle underscore baby
Underscore.
ballerina certified,
Yes,
as well as her other business page at the dot Miss Tony. Go ahead
yes.
and follow my girl and get those tiny books. Show us the tiny dancer books again.
Okay, so
I'm gonna
I have some other stuff too, girl. So
look at you.
I got printables. Hold on. First of all, let me tell you the books first.
Get into it, y'all. Get into it. Cause your girl is proud.
No, let me stop. Okay, so this was the letter tracing. So letter tracing is this is the uppercase letter book. So everything's the
Mhm.
uppercase book. So see, I know you said, oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I don't know how this thing is showing up. Yeah, let me do it this way. So,
there you
and
go.
they have an affirmation in the pages, and there's a dancer on every page. Everything I do, it's always going to go back to the tiny dancer. I don't even care if
Yeah.
it's science. If I make a science book, it will be about the tiny dancer.
Yeah.
Um,
Girl, I don't blame
superhero coloring count superhero because I think it's so cute where the little boys can color because I have one the coloring count slippers and I'm like yeah for the boys let's do superhero capes so we got some superhero capes and
you.
all that. Oh girl, wait a minute, I'm trying to show you the capes, wait a minute. Oh,
Yeah.
trying to
There
get
it
it
is.
together, there we go. And
There
they can
it
color the
is.
superhero. So I mean it's so like now I was like I use what was in my hands, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Skip counting tens. I have one by tens. I have one, I don't have it with me, I have one by fives, I don't have that with me, and then I have 1 through 30. I have the coloring count slippers, and this
Girl.
one she looks like, this little girl's like Iris, she's actually my program, she looks like her. And then for the little boys I still have a tiny dancer one for them letter tracing.
I can't
And yeah, y'all, I'm telling you, I got some of this stuff today. I'm just like, oh, girl, y'all. And then I have some one-to-one correspondences, but I'm using ballet. I just got this. So watch.
okay,
So I
show
have,
me.
let's see.
The
Man, the
kindergarten
funny
teacher
doing
is
some research. So
excited.
this one is circle, like circling all the pink stars, counting the ballet bars, and so I have them like the numbers like 2 3. Let me tell you something. Miss Tony's a genius.
Yes, she is.
No, but I've had all this stuff in my phone for years, and the
Yeah.
Lord is like, use what's in your hands. And then I can, and then I have where we change the colors, you know, maybe blue, ballet bar.
Well, Miss T is gonna use what's in Miss Tony's hands too, because I'm gonna order mine for my little kindergartners. Because we're working on all those skills too.
You
And
should.
instead
Can you
of
hear me now?
using teachers,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Tell me,
I can
tell
hear
me.
you.
You just tell me what you need for your kindergartners, and I'll make it happen. Yeah.
Girl, I got you. I'm gonna text you tomorrow morning. I'm gonna text you tomorrow morning so we can get some books in there for the babies. So instead of me
Yeah.
using teachers pay teachers stuff, none against y'all, but I'm gonna use Miss Tony stuff that got little dancers because they taking dance, and
You
we
know,
work on all those things in dance
yeah.
class.
And I'll tell you something too for the from the babies that have gotten the books. They get excited because on the front cover they see a dancer.
Themselves.
It
Mhm.
just makes it just makes it different, you know. And I don't have anything against the what is the known early childhood books that you guys normally get your things. Is it McGraw Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, when you look at spaces like that, they're not creating things like that. I'm just saying.
No,
I'm just
they're
saying.
not.
But again,
They're not.
we are in a space and we are artists and educators where we can create anything that we do not see.
Mhm. Agree. Agree. Well, Miss Tony, we're gonna have to do this again. This was amazing.
No, don't go.
This was amazing. I thank you and totally appreciate you for
Thank you
coming on
too.
with us. And for
Thank
those of
you.
you who I did not introduce myself to, whether you are new to our page at cultivated.connections, my name is Tangeray Porter, and this is Miss Tony. And I help educators cultivate healing, social awareness, and education through the arts. Make sure you follow us, everybody. Oh, and before we move on, speaking of teacher, development, we have a
Yeah,
webinar coming up February 5th
good.
at 1 o'clock p.m. So I would love to see you there. The link is in the bio. So come on through, people. Pull up on
Okay.
me. Pull
No,
up.
yeah, I'm excited to see. Uh, I want to be on the next live that you do with your next educator. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm definitely
yay.
gonna. I'm gonna follow, girl. I'm gonna get on your nerves. I'm like, oh, girl, yes. But I'm excited for the space that you are creating for us to be able to talk about our experiences because our experiences are different.
They're unique.
They're definitely different. And people need to hear them.
Yes. Oh, that just blessed my soul. I
Yeah,
love you, girl.
I love you too. I love you too. I love you too, girl.
Yes, ma'am. Well, bye bye, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and end the lives.
I
Hold on one
know.
second. Get off of
Okay.
Instagram, and I'm ending.